Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me, Saham Pinard, owner of Awareness LLC, in this branch of God and Therapy, where we take the therapeutic and research principles and combine it with our biblical teachings as well as our faith so that we can heal from whatever life is throwing at us in these moments. We took 21 days to fast and, of course, to pray. We pushed away our plates for 18 days. You are on day 18. I know if this is the first time you're doing it, you were thinking there is no way. Food is what keeps me calm. It's my go to when I am stressed. It's what stops me from hurting these people who are annoying me. But you didn't do that for these last 18 days and only three more to go. You went and you saw prayer. You listened to God. You went into your word. You did a devotional. You called your accountability partner. You did all these other things, just proving to yourself that you are more than the food that you eat. Scripture tells us that man shall not live on bread alone. Because what does the enemy do? He tempts us. When Jesus was fasting for 40 days and 40 nights, he told them, turn this stone into bread because you are famished. It's been 40 days. There's no way you are not hungry. And that was Jesus' response to him, that man shall not live on bread alone. But what we should be feasting on is the word of God. And that's what we did so far these 18 days with three more to go. So I know God has been hearing you. I know that you're seeing breakthrough, whether all at once or maybe little by little. But because you're willing to just partake in this type of fast, whether it's your first, your 10th, your 100th, every time we turn our plate down and seek God, I swear, I think he's just looking at us just a little bit harder, like, oh, what you willing to do? And here we are on day 18. So I am very proud of you. Congratulations on making it this far, and congratulations on making it to the end. Now, remember, if you feel like your spirit is telling you, we need to go a little bit further, just do a couple more days, another week, go with what your spirit leads you to do. I myself, I'm going back to my weekly 24-hour fast from Tuesdays to Wednesdays. It's just my way of regrouping myself once a week and making sure that I'm hearing from God just a little bit clearer outside of the other 6 days, 6 to 5 days where everything life has, I'm just taking it in and ingesting and just trying to make it through in all honesty. So that's how I kind of center myself, is making sure I take those 24 hours to fast, to pray, to hear God. Outside of that, if you haven't already, please click that like, share, and subscribe button. I've been speaking for a little and I'm going to get to our topics. It's one everybody speaks about. It's probably why you may be fasting. I've been speaking for a little now, and we are going to jump into our topic of relationships. It may be why you chose to fast today. It may be why you have been seeking God before this. You will continue to seek God after this. Everyone has it. Whether you are a self proclaimed loner and you think you don't need to do life alone, you got to hear this. If you're in a relationship for 10, 20 years and you're just having doubts about where this is going, you need to hear this. Whether you are in a friend relationship and you're not sure if you need to be with this person or this group anymore and move on, this message is for you. God has guidelines for us to do life, and that includes the relationships that we find ourselves in. So sit back, relax, get a journal, get a pen, something for you to take notes in, or just keep watching this over and over again for the parts that really speak to you. Let's get it. Tonight's topic is, can I trust you? I feel like many of us deal with relationship issues, whether that's what you're fasting for, whether you are asking God to bring you the right partner, man or woman into your life, whether you are asking God for friends. Some of us out here are really lonely and we don't have the right friends around us, the right community around us. Or maybe it's the opposite. You have a group of people around you, but you really don't know if you can trust them. And something inside of you is pulling you away from that group. And let's not forget family. Just because they have a title or share blood and DNA with you does not mean they need to be the one that you stay around. So how is that looking? So if this is what I decided to finish our series of the Daniel fast with, relationships. Can I trust you? Let's see what God has to say about it. Oh, before we get into that, this Daniel fast, again, 21 days, we are saying no to meat, to dairy, to fried food, alcohol, added sugars, juice. Tea is okay, make it yourself because it's a caffeine thing where Apparently, you're not supposed to have added caffeine. Again, I don't want you to make this so much about food that you are just stuck on what I can and can't eat. This is really about building a relationship with God and seeking Him for the answers that you haven't been able to get in the world. You can most definitely enjoy fruits, vegetables, grilled or baked items, fruit and vegetable juices, fruit and vegetable smoothies. Make sure whatever milk product that you use, since it's no dairy, it has to be like almonds, coconut, oat milk, and no added sugars to it. Outside of that, enjoy your spring water. Of course, you have to have your prayer time, push your plate away, and don't just keep busy, but actually seek God in those moments where you're not eating. And accountability partners. I feel like it's so important to have a community when not only when fasting, but definitely when fasting, but just for life in general, because the enemy is not short on tactics. And isolation has to be one of his best ones. Just think of it. When you're depressed, you don't want to be around people. And the more you keep around just yourself or you isolate from those who love you, the easier it is for negative thoughts to kind of take hold. If I can keep you away from that friend that's going to encourage you, that shows you that you do have love, regardless of how bad another situation may be, you still have love around you. If I can remove you from that, you are only going to look at the bad and you're going to start to decompensate. And that's what the enemy wants for us. But that's not what God is calling us to. So make sure you have an accountability partner and group. Our first scripture being that this is God and therapy. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Proverbs 17:17. Let's go back, matter of fact. I chose this picture specifically. It's actually a little bit larger, but I realized that you can see these two people from two different lenses based on where you are in life. If I am in healthy relationships, I have good people around me, I'm in an encouraged state, this looks like this man is helping him up. But if I am going through a bad time with either my romantic partner, my friends, my family, this may look like maybe he's letting him go. Like if you look at the bottom hand, maybe he's removing his hand to let this person go and fall. It really matters where our mindsets are when we look at certain things. Our perspectives on life can be skewed by just one thing. One experience can completely mess up how I view the rest of my life. That's why people who deal with trauma, who haven't healed, you are bleeding on people who didn't cut you because of that one experience. And maybe it happened over and over and over again, and it reinforced that this is what life is for me. But have you gone to your word? Have you gone to your community? Have you made the therapy appointment? Because it's there. We are here to help you heal. I want you to look at pictures like this and see help. Don't look at it and think, can I trust you? If that's what you're seeing, I need you to take a moment and reevaluate the people you have in your life. Are they the right ones? Should you be around them? And this includes family. Stop thinking because you share blood with them that it is okay for them to abuse you and use you as a punching bag because they themselves didn't heal from what they went through. That is not why God has you here. Get into some more scriptures. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. And this comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. We've heard about this. Birds of a feather flock together. If you are progressing in life and you are making changes, but you're still hanging around the same environment, the same people, nobody's really going to believe that transformation. Because why? You're going to be around these people who are still engaging in the same type of activities. They speak the same way. They talk about people. They put people down, and you're with them. So why would anyone who comes wanting to start a relationship with you, whether it be friendship, business, why would they want to connect to you if that's the type of person you look like you are? Bad company corrupts good character. And maybe you may not agree with them, but you go along with it just to keep the peace within that group. But something in your spirit is pulling you away from them. You don't feel as comfortable as you used to being in this group. There's a reason for that. Walk with the wise, become wise. For a companion of fools suffers harm. This is Proverbs 13, verse 8. If you need counsel, Who are you going to? Because if you're going to a fool, understand they're not going to lead you down the right path. You are foolish if you continue to go to these people who don't even seem like they want good for themselves. They haven't done anything to progress their own lives, but you think that this is where you need to be getting counsel from. What in their lives is showing you that they can take you to where you need to be? But then you have this other group of, whether it be church friends, school friends, colleagues, you see that they're progressing, they're doing things differently, they're changing, right? And maybe that's where you need to go and get counsel. But you are stuck being loyal to day one. Your loyalty is going to keep you broke and broken. If they are not progressing, if they are not changing, they're not developing, they're not in therapy and healing, they're not going to God for their answers and to change up certain aspects of their lives, why are you going to them for counsel? Go to the wise and become wise. Do not be a fool and suffer harm by going to the wrong person or the wrong group. Our next scripture. Do not associate with a man given to anger, or go to a hot tempered man, or you will learn his ways and find a snare for yourself. Now, because the Bible uses man, do not fool yourself into thinking that it only speaks about the male gender. No, this applies to us women. Like, if we're going to that friend that's always angry, that's always ready to pop off, you're going to pick that up no matter how good you are. Think of a glass of water. If I just put a drop of poison, do I now think, well, that's only a drop? The rest of the water is clean. Are you going to drink it? I would hope not. No, because that one splash of poison corrupts the whole thing. It now takes on the poison that one drop that was added to it. That's what happens when you continue to go around hot tempered people. You need a new environment. You need a new group. Next one. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world. Not everybody is here for you. I spoke about this in the last post that I have up on IG when I was speaking about not everybody is happy for you. Not everyone wants to see you win, unfortunately. When you have something good, and I know you feel it, I know that you feel it. When something good happens to you, are they the first ones you want to tell? And even if they are the first ones you want to tell, do you find yourself second guessing, well, maybe I should wait. Maybe let me see what's going on in their lives. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to tell them because I know they were dealing with this. You make up all these excuses because you know they're not going to be happy for you. You know they're either going to give you some bland response that's going to make you second guess yourself, or they're just going to try to kill it altogether. And again, this goes for your family members. Do not think that blood means that they need to be the ones you run to. There are false prophets in the world. Is your family in the world? Then, yep, they may be a false prophet. They may not want to see you do better than them. Maybe they're the first ones in the family to graduate college, and here you are talking about, well, I'm getting my master's. I feel like I can really do a lot of good work for the community if I just have this degree. I feel God is opening doorways for me and I'm getting the funds that I need. And here come I don't think you really need to do all that. Like, I got my bachelor's and, I'm here, I'm the supervisor at this company. And, I do a lot of work with them. But that's not what God said for you. So why are you listening to them? God is telling you to get your master's. God is telling you that I have prepared more for you. Maybe God had called them at one point to be the one that broke a curse in your family, to be that generational curse breaker. And they got scared. So they decided to get comfortable where they're at along the journey and they stayed there. And now they think because they were scared that you should be scared too. You shouldn't have the ability to go further than what they're doing. They are a false prophet if they're telling you don't do it. Don't let your day ones, don't let your family members remove what God has placed in you. There's more for you. It says God has plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. Jeremiah 29:11, we know it well. But understand that you have to seek God with all your heart. Go to verse 13. Don't just stop right there. There's more to it. If you're seeking God and you're hearing from Him, test their spirits. When's the last time that they were happy for you? When's the last time they gave you an opportunity that they themselves might have benefited from, but they felt like it would be better for you? Test their spirit. Go to God. This is what they're saying. Should I listen to them? Even though you probably already know, nah, boo, it's not you. Now, that was a little bit of warnings. And if you go through Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, it's so full of warnings and guidance that you can gain for life, which is why there's so many Proverbs scriptures in this session. But I want to also know that there's good out there. God doesn't just warn us, He provides good for us. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. The one we started with. We have people that aren't blood that we grow up with that are our brothers. Again, I'm speaking brothers or sisters, whichever one goes for you. These are the people you need to go to, not your yes men. You need the brother, the sister that is born for adversity, that hears you when you are silent. Sit with that. How many people can tell when you are silent that you're smiling, you're showing up, but there's a part of you missing? That they're going to reach out a little bit harder and say, hey, I know you were there and it looked like you were having a good time, but something's not sitting right. Are you good? And you can tell them, actually, I'm dealing with this. And they're like, all right, what do we got to do? What do we, listen to the language. What do we have to do? Without you even asking, it's a we. Can I trust you with this? Are you going to hurt me? Are you going to use it against me? But again, test the spirit. Have you ever felt like you couldn't go to them with something, or they didn't try to help in whichever form or way that they could? One of my best friends, when my grandmother passed, I think she was in nursing school at the time, and there's her program, you're not allowed to miss any days for clinicals, you fail. And for my nurses out there, if you fail a class, there is no makeup. You got to go all the way back and redo that semester, depending on the type of program that you're in. And it can hold your whole career back, just that one class. Can you imagine? And she came to the funeral. She stayed for the reception. And then as soon as it was done, she ran to her class, which I'm pretty sure was over by then. And because God is so great, she's an NP now. We're both NPs. It didn't halt or anything, but because she knew I needed her, even though my words were telling her, no, go do that. I don't want you to miss it. I don't want it to hurt you. She knew that she needed to be there with me. Next one. Better is a neighbor who is near than a brother who is far away. Again, your friends. It's not always going to be family. It's great if you have family. But if you have a neighbor, literally a neighbor, somebody who's next door, who you know whose heart is good, who always asks how you're doing, who looks out for you, or maybe it's just a friend that lives a couple of blocks away or maybe in the same city. Sometimes that's the person you need to lean on. That's the person you can call when something hits because your family's a little bit farther away. Don't close yourself off to the groups or the person that God is bringing to you just because they don't hold a particular title or they haven't been around for a particular amount of time. Third one. Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. Couple of verses down. You want to be with the group of people who make you better. If you are the smartest one, I think that's a worldly thing. If you're the smartest person on your team, you need to find a new team because you're not going to progress. Now, if you reach the pinnacle of where you know God is calling you and you're surrounded by go-getters and all that, cool. Do what you got to do, but still challenge each other. My friends challenge me. The only reason I'm sitting here doing this Daniel fast now is because I had a friend who helped me learn how to fast. Because my first fast, if you watch at the table, it didn't go so well. I made up my own rules. And she walked with me. I went to her like, I don't think I did this well. How do you do this? And she showed me. We created a group. Her mom came in. Her sister came in. We've had other friends come in. And we learned and taught each other how we need to get better. Not only in God, but in the world. Because we've opened up opportunities for each other in our businesses, in our careers, just off the fact of our relationship. So you need an iron sharpening iron relationship around you. Next one. A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Just because you have a lot of people around doesn't mean you have a lot of friends around. How many times have we? I think Robin Williams was the one that said, like, he started to feel like he was alone in a room full of people. Because did anybody really see him? You're around all these people, you're partying with all these people, you're traveling with all these people, but what good are they bringing to your life, really? And remember that two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. Ecclesiastes 4, verse 9 through 10. This is in the devotionals that God in Therapy had put out. Don't forget to pick yours up. For my loners who feel I can do life alone, I don't need people, who hurt you? Who hurt you? Because that's where it's stemming from. Someone hurt you and you're just not ready to deal with it, or you don't want to deal with it. Life was never made to be done alone. I've said this before and I'll say it again. When God created all of this, the first 6 days, he said everything was good except one thing. It was not good for man to be alone. So why are you alone? Why are you doing life alone? If our creator, the God who stands above all, who sits outside of time and saying it's not good for one person to be alone, what makes you think that you can stand above that and say, no, I'm okay alone? No, I need you to heal. I need you to get into therapy and go to the root of that. Did your mother hurt you? Did your brother hurt you? Maybe you had a close friend that betrayed your trust. So now you're a little bit weary and you keep everybody on a surface level. It looks like you're engaged, but really you're not. You haven't heard one word. You're not going to share anything with them. You're going to give them surface. Like, yeah, the job, like, I can't believe it. I'm going to, look into that. But are you going to tell them that you cry at night because you feel like life isn't going the way it needs to? These battles that the enemy sends our way is made to take us out. And he is so cunning and he is so patient. You think your isolation was your idea? No, it wasn't. The enemy placed that in you. Oh, you hurt? All right, bet. I'm going to keep reinforcing. I'm going to keep reminding you of how that last group hurt you, of how that last group talked about you behind your back, how you tried to make things okay, but they consistently just stabbed you in the back. I'm going to keep reminding you of that so that way you never get into the right community. Because he sees that God has good for you. He sees the people that are coming your way. But if I can stop you here and get you stuck, you'll never get there. Which means the great things that you're supposed to do with this community, the nations that you're going to affect with the idea that one conversation with that community spawns, all that is not going to happen if the enemy keeps you right here in isolation. So you have to heal. There's a reason he's keeping you with the wrong people. And yes, again, this includes your family. Learn to love them from afar. Yes, the commandment is to honor thy mother and thy father, but it doesn't say to be used as a punching bag by them. You can respect them and keep your boundaries up at the same time. That's where therapy comes in. If you don't know how to do it, you should be seeking therapy so that way we can learn how to build that together. So you may be asking yourself, where do I start? I'm hearing everything you're saying. I've felt these things that you said about my community. How do I let go? How do I move on? Ask yourself some of these questions. How do you feel around them? Do you feel like you're trying or you're putting on a facade just to fit in? And when you introduce new ideas to them, how do they react? Are they more excited than you? Are they happy? Are they already trying to bring you ideas and send you things that they see that may align with that idea? Or are they silent? Are they bland? Are they happy for you when you win? Are they okay with you progressing, even if they're not progressing themselves yet? Some people don't want to see you do better than them. And that includes your family. That includes your day ones. Is there a person or a group that you feel better around? That you can be this new version of you that you're progressing into, that you feel God is calling you to be? Can you be that person with this new group? If the answer is yes, I think there's some evaluations that need to be done. Maybe some introductions. Go to an event. Maybe they've called you or texted you a couple of times and you curved them. Maybe answer one of them. Do their characters or their goals align with mine? Now, it's not always beef that causes us to have to let go or move on from people. Maybe your goals don't align. Maybe who you're becoming doesn't align with who they are. And of course, do they pray with me or for me? You need someone that's going to be praying for you. You need someone interceding on your behalf, telling God, I see that he or she is blind in this area, but I see the attack. Protect them. They don't see it yet, but I see it. Protect them, God. And you don't think God is going to answer them? Because they have their own relationship with God, right? So God, of course, hears them. And he's like, all right, cool. Certain blessings that we experience is not even because we were made for that blessing. It's because of who we're connected to. In the story of Abraham, when God promises him the land, so like the promised land, like go to the land I will show you, Genesis chapter 12. He takes along Lot. He takes along all of his servants. He takes his wife Sarai. He was an Abraham at the time. He was still Abram. He takes all these people with him. And it's not because the promise was for them. It's because they were connected to Abram. You yourself have been blessed due to a connection. We say it in different terms, networking. It's not always about what you know, but who you know. So many of these principles come from the Bible, and we swear, oh, this came from this book, this came from that person. No, it came from the Bible. It did. it came from the Bible. Your connections matter. So who are you with? And lastly, have you prayed on it? Don't hear this and feel like, oh, I need to let go of everybody in my circle. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to let go of everybody in your circle. I'm telling you that there are some people that you need to pray about. Maybe they're just having a hard time right now. And they are trying to transition and they are trying to pull away from certain things and they're just having a hard time. Pray with them, pray for them. Don't be so quick to just say, I'm about to let you go. You're not where I'm going. You're not aligned with what I'm aligned. No. Pray on it. Ask God, what do you want me to do in this instant? What should I be doing? Where do you want me to go with this? And see where God takes me.